Everyone knows that putting money aside in savings is really important. But then what? Should you keep your savings locked in a CD for a higher rate or keep them liquid in a money market? Can your checking account help you save too? Or is it about creating the right combination? We believe real banking is a conversation. Let's talk about the savings options that are right for you. Learn more at sandyspringbank.com. Member FDIC.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1712. 7 Assumptions We Need to Stop Making About Other People, by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back this weekend. I'm Greg Audino, your host and narrator, reading to you every single day from some of the best relationship blogs on the web. Grateful to have your attention on a nice spring weekend like this one, and I think you're really going to like the post that I have lined up for you today. It's one that I think can really help all of us check ourselves a bit when it comes to the biases that affect our ability to fully interact with and understand others. So without further ado, let's hop right into this article and optimize your life. 7 Assumptions We Need to Stop Making About Other People, by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com. Too often, we judge people too quickly, or too subjectively. We tell ourselves stories about them without thinking it through. Our perceptions and biases get the best of us. I was reminded of this today when I received the following in an email from a Think Better, Live Better 2020 ticket holder. Quote, I learned the hard way that a smile can hide so much, that when you look at a person, you never know what their story is or what's truly going on in their life. This harsh reality became evident to me this morning when I found out that one of my top students, always straight A's, a positive attitude, and a smile on her face, died by suicide last night. Why? Nobody seems to know, and it's killing me inside. End quote. Talk about a reality check, right? What we tell ourselves about others, what we think we know, is often far from the truth. And with that in mind, I'm sitting here reflecting on all the little things we have to stop assuming about other people, for their sake and ours. Number 1, we need to stop assuming that the happiest people are simply the ones who smile the most. Behind the polite smiles and greetings people give you, some are hurting and lonely. Don't just come and go. See them, care, share, listen, love. We can't always see people's pain, but they can always feel our kindness. So be kinder than necessary. 2, we need to stop assuming that the people we love and respect won't disappoint us. When we expect perfection, we tend to overlook goodness. And the truth is, no one's perfect. At times, the confident lose confidence, the patient misplace their patience, the generous act selfish, and the informed second-guess what they know. It happens to all of us, too. We make mistakes, we lose our tempers, and we get caught off guard. We stumble, we slip, and we fall sometimes. But that's the worst of it. We have our moments. Most of the time, we're pretty darn good, despite our flaws. So treat the people you love accordingly. Give them the space to be human. Number 3, we need to stop assuming that the people who are doing things differently are doing things wrong. We all take different roads seeking fulfillment, joy, and success. Just because someone is not on your road doesn't mean they're lost. Number 4, we need to stop assuming that the people we disagree with don't deserve our compassion and kindness. The exact opposite is true. The way we treat people we strongly disagree with is a report card on what we've learned about love, compassion, kindness, and humility. Number 5, we need to stop assuming that we can't trust people we don't know. Some people build too many walls in their lives and not enough bridges. Don't be one of them. Open yourself up. Take small chances on people. Let them prove your doubts wrong, gradually, over time. Number 6, we need to stop assuming that the rude people of the world are personally targeting us. We can't take things too personally, even if it seems personal. Rarely do people do things because of us. They do things because of them. And there is a huge amount of freedom that comes to us when we detach from other people's behaviors. So just remember, the way others treat you is their problem. How you react is yours. And number 7, we need to stop assuming that other people are our reason for being unhappy, unsuccessful, etc. We may not be able to control all of the things people say and do to us, but we can decide not to be reduced by them. We can choose to forgive, or we can choose to forget. We can choose to stay, or we can choose to go. We can choose whatever helps us grow. There's always a positive choice to make. Thus, the only real, lasting conflict you will ever have in your life won't be with others, but with yourself, and how you choose to respond and the daily rituals you choose to follow. Dealing with people who deeply offend us. Some of the points listed, like numbers 4 and 6, for example, potentially require a willingness to cordially deal with people who yell at us, interrupt us, cut us off in traffic, talk about terribly distasteful things, and so forth. These people violate the way we think people should behave, and sometimes their behavior deeply offends us. But if we let these people get to us again and again, we will be upset and offended far too often. So, what can we do? There isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but here are 2 strategies Angel and I often recommend to our course students and live event attendees. 1. Be bigger, think bigger. Imagine a 2-year-old who doesn't get what she wants at this moment. She throws a temper tantrum. This small, momentary problem is enormous in her little mind because she lacks perspective on the situation. But as adults, we know better. We realize that there are dozens of other things that 2-year-olds could do to be happy. Sure, that's easy for us to say. We have a bigger perspective, right? But when someone offends us, we suddenly have a little perspective again. This small, momentary offense seems enormous, and it makes us want to scream. We throw the equivalent of a 2-year-old's temper tantrum. However, if we think bigger, we can see that this small thing matters very little in the grand scheme of things. It is not worth our energy. So always remind yourself to be bigger, to think bigger, and broaden your perspective. And 2, mentally hug them and wish them better days. This little trick can positively change the way we see people who offend us. Let's say someone has just said something unpleasant to us. How dare they? Who do they think they are? They have no consideration for our feelings. But of course, with a heated reaction like this, we're not having any consideration for their feelings either. They may be suffering inside in unimaginable ways. By remembering this, we can try to show them empathy and realize that their behavior is likely driven by some type of inner pain. They're being unpleasant as a coping mechanism for their pain. And so, mentally, we can give them a hug. We can have compassion for this broken person, because we all have been broken and in pain at some point as well. We're the same in many ways. Sometimes we need a hug, some extra compassion, and a little unexpected love. Try one of these strategies the next time someone offends you, and then smile and breathe, armed with the comforting knowledge that there's no reason to let someone else's behavior turn you into someone that you aren't. You just listened to the post titled, 7 Assumptions We Need to Stop Making About Other People by Marc Chernoff of marcandangel.com.
And now a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive.
And today expect mostly sunny conditions with a high on life that can only come from cruising down the road on 2 wheels. Kids will wave, dogs will bark, and cyclists in padded shorts will instantly regret their chosen mode of transportation. Whereas you, on the other hand, will look super duper cool. Back to you in the studio.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get a quote today and see what you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
And thank you so much to Marc for this one, a post that a lot of people needed to hear, I'm sure. But why do we make these 7 assumptions in the first place? Why isn't it our go-to state of mind to do what he's telling us to do in this article? Well, because we feel less scared when we think that we can sort things. Labeling and making assumptions help us categorize people, so we can generate what we feel to be appropriate responses to them. But obviously, this leaves us with very limited views of people. It's crucial for us to truly acknowledge the gray in everyone, the possibility that lies in each of us, and therefore, the innate volatility that lies within each of us. Because when we do this, not only are we being more realistic, but we humanize everyone, including ourselves. We don't harbor as many expectations, and our love is not as conditional. We allow people to have their flaws and their unpredictabilities. This is how we generate true love, because we are willingly putting ourselves in a place of vulnerability. And frankly, doing so is how we encourage others to do the same as well, and really tap into that collective fear that we all have, that fear that causes us to make these 7 assumptions. But the more open we can be about that fear, as opposed to trying to combat it, the more we stand to connect with people at a deeper level. So, something to think about, folks, as we wrap things up. As always, I thank you so much for being here and listening all the way through. Be sure to share this episode with someone who you think might enjoy it. And aside from that, I'll see you in a second for our weekly bonus episode, which is live now in your feed as well. That's where your optimal life awaits.